Yeah, you can see the full screen now, right?
Yeah.
So I've just given a name. MargaDarshak is nothing but a guide or a mentor, because I was looking at the volunteers as being MargaDarshaks to these people who are looking for help or support, to take benefit of the various government schemes. And this was prepared for iVolunteer. Of course, IDBI Bank is going to be one of the partners towards this, achieving this goal. So, the objective, as we all know, the document that I had shared is nothing but a presentation of that document that I had shared earlier. That no, very few people, be it urban or rural, are aware about the various schemes that they can benefit from. Maybe not more than 2 out of 10 are aware of these schemes. And our aim should be to first spread financial literacy, that is awareness of the various government schemes, and importantly to also ensure that they get the last mile support. So this is the word that I have coined basically for this initiative. Last mile support means filling up the forms and applying for the various government schemes, because if you just do the awareness, it's not going to benefit them completely. Awareness is just one part, but they also need to be shown the way, how where they should go, what they should be doing next. So this is the initiative all about, just not just financial literacy, but yeah, combined with the last mile support. And how, and the scope of this discussion today is, how do we attract these volunteers to become margdarshaks to achieve this goal? What will be the role of IDBI Bank, who have recently helped us to complete the last mile support for few of the intended beneficiaries, and what are the resources that are available to them? So that is something that we'll quickly discuss. So, so how did we address this concern? So this is just a, a case study which happened just recently on 12th of February. Of course, it happened with lot of discussions. Me, Murtigaru, who is there in the call, who is there in the meeting now, is one of our advisors. Like, how do we make it successful? Initially, we thought just awareness, but then we thought just creating awareness will not help unless we have the last mile support given to them. So this took us some time, maybe a month's brainstorming that went into it, and then we planned on 12th February by conducting a awareness session on financial literacy. Of course, we called few experts from who are ex IDBI Bank, and there was a lady who came from WDC. So these are the people who came there to talk about the various schemes, and we had about 60 participants. Most of them the local, the street hawkers, and some of them housemaids, security guards. So they had all come in. About 60 people turned up, and the various schemes were explained to them very quickly at the high level. And then we gathered the data of the participants. So we had support from MLAC, that is a college in Malleshwaram. Um, we had 15 volunteers, though we didn't require 15, but they all came for this event, and they collected the data from all the participants, the name, phone numbers, etc. And then we started reaching out to the participants after the event was completed. And within a week's time, we had a tie-up with IDBI Bank, the local branch here in Baswangudi, where all the the beneficiaries or the intended the participants are located. And we are so happy that we got very good support from them. And the camp was organized on 20th February. We didn't want to extend it beyond that. Others, what will happen is that they will feel, okay, we got awareness, we know what we need, but who is going to help us next? So we didn't want that gap to be widened. So we completed the entire cycle within a week's time. So on 20th February, a camp was organized in IDBI Bank in Basungudi branch. And we spoke to all of them, all 60 plus participants who came, we spoke to them. Some of them dropped out, and we got about 30 people who indeed applied for Jandan and other various schemes. So we can say that out of 60 who turned up, about 30 became beneficiaries of various government schemes, all within a span of 7 to 8 days. So after completing the program successfully, I would call it a success, because we didn't imagine 60 would turn up in the first place. We thought 20, 30, 60 turned up, and even for the camp, we didn't expect a lot of them to come. But then 30 people, 30 of them got benefit. So I would still call it a success. And then we thought, okay, whatever knowledge that we have gathered over a period of time, over a period of 1 month, me, Murtigaru, etc., the knowledge, the material that we gathered, and what are the best practice that was captured, the forms, etc., that were used to first get the volunteers, and then the volunteers use certain Google forms to gather data of the participants. We thought, why not make good use of that? And that's when I approached Venkat of Living My Promise, IWT, and he was the one who then started spreading the word about us, and that's how we are meeting today with you. So. What for this to so I'll not go through in detail. You have already got the PPT. I'll go to the next one. So what is the approach that we need to use to attract the volunteers? So the first point, we have already done that now. So that's the reason we are meeting. And then we have to target volunteers. Again, I would say not necessarily they would need to be ex-bankers, or not necessarily they need to be senior citizens. Otherwise, what will happen is we'll exclude those who are really passionate to make a difference to their life. So we could have even college students, we could have even people from the corporate or homemakers, or it could be just anybody, or people who are working in NGOs. They could be the volunteers for us. And they again need not have the requisite background as well. So because we'll handhold them and we'll help them with knowledge of all these schemes, that on how they need to talk to them, what should be the next step, and we are going to then have them. Okay, the next point is giving an option to them, that would you want to give just awareness? Would you want to support the last mile support only, or provide both awareness and last mile support? But it is advisable that they get involved in both the activities. Otherwise, they will not be happy with the impact that they will be creating. Okay, and of course, the ad or post on iVolunteer we could share in the social media or WhatsApp groups to attract more volunteers. Um, what will be the next step? The volunteers will have to fill up a form. So I'll just quickly run through that form. It's already prepared. So this is the form that you will see on my screen now. Okay, so the name, email ID, current location, PIN code, very important, because we have to map them to the necessary IDBI bank branch, so that it becomes easy for us. Contact number, the current status, which languages they know, and how would they be interested to support, and some of these things, their availability and their awareness of the scheme, so that we know what is the awareness level, and basically we can then look at tailoring our workshop to target them. And then also they could refer other volunteers within the circle, and there's one point about if the person is willing to go to the rural area, or any queries. So this is the form that they need to fill up, which will not take them more than maybe 5 minutes. And then, so once they are shortlisted, or once we know their interest, a 1 hour workshop will be conducted to for the benefit of them. Maybe we will have 3 or 4 slots, so that they can choose one of them, where we give them orientation on the schemes. What should be the process to identify target segment? The best practices that we adopted, and how do we create awareness. What should be the process or steps for the last mile support, of course with the help of IDBI bank, and the case studies that we have already collected, and then provide them 3 or 4 slots that they may choose. So this is the stage where I say that they become MargaDarshaks now, after attending the workshop, and then they are all set to start targeting a small either a small set of beneficiaries within their own community, or they could maybe do something like what we did on 12th of Feb. Collect 30, 40, or 50 people around them, fix a date, and then do it near a park or in any neighborhood area. No, and then they may even take help from few other volunteers within that group. So that is what they can do. The next one is the backend support now. So we have support of IDBI Bank. So they've already spread the word through their financial inclusion cell to give support to this initiative. And they have about 2,000 branches in India. So the reason why we are capturing the PIN code is exactly for that same reason. So once the volunteers are identified, we know which branch is nearest to them, so that they can use these branches for the last mile support, for filling the forms, etc., or opening the Jandan account. We may also approach other banks if and all we see, if there is any need in the future. And then um, uh, as I mentioned, the IDBI bank manager or the representative will be tagged or mapped to these volunteers who are nearest to them, and they'll be providing the backend support. So all that the volunteers have to do is ensure that they go to the branch, the branch that has been identified, and then the forms are filled or the accounts are opened. They need not do it themselves because the branch staff will help them. So they need to do is be around so that the support is given to them, and they'll only monitor the progress, not take the overall responsibility of opening an account or helping them apply for the schemes. We don't want them volunteers to do that. It's the bank's responsibility to do that. And this is more about the the documentation that we have already collated so far. So there is a detailed PPT on the various schemes, government schemes that need to talk to the beneficiaries. Then there is a concept note, and this PPT is nothing but a concise presentation of that. There's a volunteer registration form that they need to fill. The IDBI bank list is also there. So, and you also have the name of the branch manager and their contact number. And then the data collection form, because after the volunteer approaches the beneficiaries, they need to fill the data there about the beneficiaries or the intended beneficiaries, so that we can capture the data at one place. We don't have to go and look for individual Excel data or whatever. It will be at one place. And then the link below is nothing but what I have shown you just now, the volunteer registration form. So this is the last slide. If you see the left side, that was the 12th Feb event. We did it in a park in Baswangudi in Bangalore, where about 60 people attended. You can see the speaker there. She came from WTC, Women's Development Council. On the right side, you see the image. It's from IDBI Bank. So you can see the staff helping the intended beneficiaries with opening the account and helping them with the various schemes. And there is a YouTube video you can view at leisure. It's a 2-minute video on the entire process that we captured.